Morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel. And I know it's weird for me to be streaming the coffee stream on a Tuesday, but since I didn't stream yesterday or Friday, I figured I would do a catch-up stream today and do a Canadian Wednesdays tomorrow. So, I hope everyone had a good weekend. Hope everybody had a good Canada Day slash 4th of July and that they got to hang out with family and have good food and do some, just have a good time. I certainly did. We got to go to our cottage, and it wasn't just my dad up there. Turned out, oh, excuse me. Turned out that my uncle showed up with his little boy, so our boys got to hang out with their cousin, and my little sister, my dad's other daughter, came up as well with her friend. So it was a nice family visit. It was a good time. It was really awesome that I got to see them, because it's because of COVID. It's been quite a while since we've all seen each other, so that was really awesome. And so I hope everybody else had a similar experience, that they got to see family that they may not have been able to see for a while. And we're just gonna do some catch up today, hang out, look at some news that I have in my DMs, and we're just gonna have a chilled out stream today. So let's stop yawning, first of all, and get into it. Okay. Okay, let's open up Twitter. And of course, we may have random exclamations from Alex. He's in the other room playing Sonic. And I hope everyone else who may be in the path of this heat is keeping cool. I know that in BC it's been pretty hot, and it's getting pretty hot up here as well. So I hope everyone that's affected by the heat is able to keep cool and stay hydrated. I know that we've all been kind of stuck inside because of COVID. So if you do go outside to get some exercise and some fresh air, just do be careful, protect yourself, hat, sunscreen, water, and don't stay out too long. All right. What have we here today? All right, let's share the screen here. I think this is a National Post article. Here we go. Share screen. Okay. Oh yeah? That's pretty awesome. What are you going to play now, buddy? Are you going to play Sonic Forces? Alex? What are you going to play? Lego Avengers? Okay. Alright. Where is the headline? There it is. MP View, Liberal hate speech bill will put a chill on free speech. Trudeau government keeps playing politics with our rights. And the author of the article is the National Post View. So NP View, which makes sense. This was written July 3rd. And here we have a picture of our illustrious Prime Minister. I say that with all the sarcasm I can. Woof! Hello, Maniac Man. Hey, Jay. Thanks for stopping by. Alright, let's take a listen.
You are currently on much of social media. To compare much of social media to a swamp, a sewer, a cesspool, or an old-fashioned outhouse is to miss the point. You are currently on a text. Story continues below. You are currently on a text element. There is without question an off-putting stink to all those entities, enough to discourage people from hanging around any longer than essential. But mere nature lacks something at which online communications excel: the malevolence, the cruelty, the bitterness, the truthlessness, and the all-encompassing anger that typifies so much of what gets channeled into cyber discourse in the guise of discussion, commentary, debate, opinion, or simple free speech.
Yeah?
Heading level 2. Distroscow. Advertisement.
That's true. There is so much vitriol and anger right now that is being just... They're just... It's all just vitriol now. There's no discussion anymore. And, you know, if anyone has any kind of valid point, you know, you're a racist, you're a sexist, you're a whatever, a phobe. And they'll deny it. JBP called them out years before, and they called them, and they did exactly what he said they would do. Yep.
You are currently an empty advertisement. Story continues. It's not unreasonable, therefore, that the federal Liberals would try once again to find a way to stem the tide of hate speech. Bill C-36 was introduced in the final hours of the last sitting day of a parliament that will go down in nobody's books as one to remember fondly. It's an attempt to replace a section of the Canadian Human Rights Act that was repealed 7 years ago over fears it was being abused by specific groups to silence views they disagreed with. To that end, the new bill attempts to tighten up the definition of hatred. Hatred, it says, means the emotion that involves detestation or vilification and that is stronger than dislike or disdain. You are...
Detestation or vilification, and is stronger than dislike or disdain. They may as well have just said hatred is, you know, hatred. Seriously, they may as well have just said that.
For greater certainty, it adds, the communication of a statement does not incite or promote hatred, for the purposes of this section, solely because it discredits, humiliates, hurts, or offends. The bill also amends the criminal code to enable an individual to go to court, with the Attorney General's assent, if they fear on reasonable ground that another person may commit an offense motivated by bias, prejudice, or hate based on race, national or ethnic origin, language, color, religion, sex, age, mental or physical disability, sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or any other similar factor. You are correct.
Gender identity or Jesus Christ. And it could mean just offense. Offense is taken. It's not given. And fear on reasonable ground. How can you fear something on reasonable ground in the eyes of the law? Wow. I just got here. Am I going to have to reread our hate propaganda laws again because of this? Probably. Isn't Trudeau only being held up by Quebec? Quebec, and there are some parts of southern Ontario that are still diluted or deluded enough to buy his bullshit.
Story continues below. In other words, hate speech is not hate speech if all it does is upset or offend people. It has to go beyond that to some greater level of malfeasance before it becomes a crime. You are... If, after reading that last sentence, you ask yourself, okay, but what precisely identifies that new level, and who decides? You have identified the fundamental weakness of C-36, and any other law that seeks to throw a rope around hatred and haul it away. It's the very same problem that prompted the change in the Human Rights Act 7 years ago. As Kara's Wibble. You... Link. Director. Of the Canadian Civil Liberties Association's Fundamental Freedoms Program, told National Post this week, the concerns that we had, then, continue to be concerns. Chrome has new window.
Exactly. There's a reason that part of the Human Rights Act was changed. And Trudeau's Liberals are basically rewriting that section into a bill. And they're trying to pass it off as new legislation.
Despite the new wording, she said, the bill may be abused in much the same way, by using it as a tool to silence people by threatening to haul them before a judge over views that may be unpopular or controversial, but nothing more. What's more, observed University of Windsor professor Richard Moon, the vast growth of social media sites in recent years could see authorities swamped in a way no one previously anticipated.
Yes. Absolutely. Like, you look at growth of sites like TikTok, for example, in Canada. This could very, very easily become abused.
Story continues below. The volume of hate speech out there that individuals or groups could make complaints about is so great that I don't see how the system can function or operate, he said.
He's right. He's absolutely right. There is so much stuff out there that is... It stems... And it varies. It goes from, controversial to straight up just race baiting, vitriolic hate, and anywhere in between. And this whole, fear on reasonable grounds language could very easily become abused. I don't see how this is any different. People from across the political spectrum need to know what our hate speech laws say. Too many people on the left think that speech that is just offensive qualifies. Yes. You are exactly right, Costin.
To qualify as a violation of the Human Rights Act, hate speech would have to be made in public, via social media, personal websites, mass emails, or online comment sections. Private emails and direct messages would not qualify. Yet, wherever it appears, whether an assertion crosses the invisible line into a hate crime would still depend on the subjective interpretation of unelected officials or appointed judges, who are already supposed to be guided by past court interpretations in any case.
Yep.
As Swibble noted, the continued uncertainty about where the line is drawn means you don't know if you have crossed it until it's too late, and while the bill would apply to individuals, it contains no new penalties for the giant companies like Facebook or Twitter through which so much of the malevolence travels.
Not to mention, there is now that disconnect between Canada, or the Canadian government, wanting Facebook and Twitter to pay into the Canadian Creator Fund, but at the same time they don't want to hold them accountable as they would hold other people for the amount of bullshit that is on their platform. Which is really very interesting because it shows where the Liberal government's interests lie. They want money from these people, but they don't want to hold them as the same account as they would hold individuals. But they want us to believe that Bill C-10 is not going to punish us. They're only going to hold companies to account. Well, if you're only going to hold companies to account in one sense, you should hold them to account in the other sense too. You can't do both.
Story continues below. The many flaws in the bill, and the fact it was introduced after Parliament had adjourned and nothing more could be done to repair it, has prompted charges it's intended mainly as a liberal election slogan. Something the party can wave around without any fear of it becoming law. You are currently on a tech...
That's a very good argument. Because if you think about it, that is exactly what they've done. They introduced this bill right at the end of the session. So there was really no way anybody could go, wait. Let's take a look at this here. Because that's what they wanted.
Given how brazenly Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has been clearing the decks for what he hopes will be a victorious march to a majority, it's impossible to dismiss the thought it's just another example of the party's deep addiction to virtue signaling. Why else squeeze it out when the House has already quit for the summer? Why not just wait until it reconvenes, when it could be subject to closer examination?
Because they don't want it to be subject to closer examination.
Justice Minister David Lametti insists he would never play politics with our national security. It would be nice if we were able to take him at his word. But the Liberal record is long since past the point where it's possible to accord them that distinction. You are...
They would never play politics with our national security. Bullshit. Just bullshit.
National Post. You are correct.
So that's that first story. Where did I put the... There it is. So yeah, was by the National Post, and it does bring up some very good points that, it's very suspect to me that the government would want to hold tech giants to account financially, but not with respect to what its users do. When in regards to content that could be breaking the hate speech laws. Hello, honey. Pincalo says the Liberal Party of Canada has taken to the Democratic Party of the U.S.'s argument that everything is a matter of national security. Yeah. It's almost like they share the same agenda. Yep. Okay. Let's see here. So this is a letter to the editor piece. Come on. Do your thing, please. Thank you. Okay. All right. To the screen share button. I really like... So Pincalo, while I'm getting the screen shared, Pincalo was driving, on a delivery last week, and just happened to drive by somebody throwing out a desk, it's like a metal framed, glass topped desk, and it is it's a wider desk than my old wooden one. It's a bit narrower, but I have a lot more space. I've got room for my laptop, my coffee, cause it's a rectangle instead of just a little square child's desk. So it's a lot. Oh, there's...
Why'd you put your foot under my leg?
There's Pincalo now.
Why'd you put your foot under my boot? Shouldn't put your foot there. Not a good place for it. What's wrong? Why are you stopping?
Okay.
I'm not teaching you Fallout yet. I'm here for 2 minutes. I said after I get home tonight you can learn how to play Fallout. You got 500 other games to play. Play Warzone.
Letters to the editor. The silence of those who worked at residential schools is deafening. I would agree with that. What was I gonna say here?
Now wait. You have to wait for it to load.
Oh, Lindsay! Lindsay! Holy shit! How are you? It's been a while. Glad to see you here.
Hit X here. But wait. Until this cycles back to this same video.
Okay. And here we have a picture of some shoes on the steps of the Manitoba provincial legislature. This has been something that people have been doing across the country since the Kamloops discovery. They've been placing children's shoes at different like memorials and provincial buildings. Let's see here. So let's get to the body of the article and unplug the headphones.
The residential schools are not medieval history. The last one closed its doors about a quarter of a century ago. There must be scores of teachers and administrators who were involved with the system and are still around today, men and women, both clergy and lay people. Surely, they would want to defend and justify their past participation in the residential schools. Why don't we hear from them? Their silence is deafening.
Well, I wouldn't want to defend my participation. If I worked in one of these, I would not be defending my work. I really would not. Understand? Oh, good, Lindsay.
Thomas Shomogi, Thornhill, ONT. You're heading level 2. Comments on.
Is that it?
Conrad Black's assertion that Bill Chrome has new window. June link. Conrad Black's. Though I have my own reservations about the proposed law, I can assure Mr. Black that Martin W. Editor.
What?
Heading level 2. Historic site can't be replaced.
That's it? Wait. That's it?
What?
Mommy? Why is that it?
Fine.
What the hell? Where's the rest of the letter? There we go.
It's not playing. Oh, really?
Wow. That's kind of bullshit.
Quiet.
I get to read the first part of the letter, and because of the way this page is laid out, I can't access the rest of it. Yes, there was a church burning in Calgary.
There have been 12 in the last 3 weeks.
There have been 12 in the last 3 weeks, Pincolo says.
Several have been burned to the ground, others have just been wet.
Yes, some have been burned to the ground, some have just been,
And all Trudeau could say in his wonderful speech was, I understand your frustration.
Well, you hear the theory going around that it's Christians that are doing it.
What?
I think now.
Yeah, great.
Why?
Play Minecraft.
Let's see here.
I will show you how to get out when I get back. Here, play Minecraft. Wait, you want to play Mortal Kombat? If you're going to play Mortal Kombat, you better ask Mommy.
You're not old enough to play Mortal Kombat.
You can turn off the core, and then it's just Street Fighter. Play Minecraft and stay quiet. That is the opposite of what I just said.
He wants to play Fallout 4. Well, that's annoying that letter to the editor was not accessible to me. So what's going on in Canada is there's a lot of what happened to the natives is being discovered. Now there's a lot of division. And there's a lot of guilty white people. And a lot of justifiably angry indigenous people. But the problem is that in their anger, there's a bunch of reverse racism going on, and there's a lot of hatred going on. People saying that all white people are colonizers, and they're coming at it from a place of anger, which is getting other people to get defensive, and it's causing a lot of division, a lot of hate, and a lot of pain. And it's just being fanned by people like Trudeau. You're right, Lindsay. It's the last thing we need right now. Yeah, Trudeau is fanning the flames. You're exactly right, Costin. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. He's fanning the flames, and he's doing nothing concrete to do anything. And all the guilty activists white people can do is wear orange shirts and cancel Canada Day and not push their members of parliament to push the government to provide potable water, to provide infrastructure, to provide education, to provide healing, support for therapy, and all this stuff. They're not pushing any of that. They just want a virtue signal. Any word on that Polish pastor that was arrested in Calgary? No. Unfortunately. So let's take a look at something that's less sad. Australian moth species thought extinct for over 150 years still found alive. Or moth species. Moth species. So here's a picture of moths. So let's take we're gonna take a pivot to science for a minute.
A species of mouse that was thought to have been wiped out more than 150 years ago has been discovered alive, although it's now known by a different name. Your story continues below. In a new study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences of the United States of America. Link, PNAS. Researchers compared DNA samples from 8 extinct Australian rodents, as well as 42 of their living relatives, to get a picture of the decline of native species in Australia since the arrival of Europeans. Chrome has new window.
Ah, yes, since the arrival of Europeans.
Heading level 2. Advertisement. Their results showed that Gould's mouse, which had been presumed extinct, was indistinguishable from the Shark Bay mouse, which still. Your current link survives. On a few small islands in Western Australia, Chrome has new window. In other words, the Gould's mouse is the Shark Bay mouse.
Interesting.
It is exciting that Gould's mouse is still around, but its disappearance from the mainland highlights how quickly the species went from being distributed across most of Australia to only surviving on offshore islands in Western Australia. Lead author of the study Emily Roycroft told. Link, Australian National University. It's a huge population collapse. You are
That is
on a
true.
text element.
That is a very large... If it was spread out across, almost all of the continent, and then it just was reduced to a few islands, that's pretty significant. It could be worse. We could be Australia. I would be terrified to live in Australia as a blind person. Like, especially if I lived in like the deserty areas. I would not leave my house. And I would constantly be like, do I have poisonous intruders that will kill me? Like, I would be, yeah.
Story continues below. Heading level 2. Link. Heading previous item. Chrome has new. Next item. Mouse link. In London, England. Little has been known about the rodent other than that it had rapidly gone extinct after the arrival of Europeans in the country. Chrome has new window. Yet with the latest findings, the authors of the PNAS published study say they can now taxonomically resurrect the species.
Taxonomically resurrect the species.
Rodents have the greatest number of species of all the mammals. They are great ecosystem engineers as they are predators of plants, fungi and invertebrates. They are also important in the food chain for the many species that prey on them, said Roberto Portela Miguez, a senior curator of mammals at the Natural History Museum, who was involved in the study. The more we understand them, the more we can protect them and the ecosystems they live in. You are currently on a text element.
That, I actually didn't know that rodents had the most number of species per in the mammalian. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. It makes sense. It does make sense if you think about it, because they do breed quickly. They're small, so they, there's more room for them. They're able to hide and protect themselves that way. So it makes sense that out of mammals that those would be the most populous. But I actually didn't know that. Hey, Gunny! How's it going? Doing a random Tuesday stream because I didn't stream yesterday or Friday, so figured I would do a stream today.
Story continues below. Genetic information used in the 2021 study came from museum specimens stored all over the world, including London's Natural History Museum. It said in your link online post. Period. Some of the specimens that were examined were over 180 years old. You are currently on it, Emily Roycroft. You are currently on a text element.
That's very interesting. I love science-y stuff like that. I really do. It always fascinates me. Why is he screaming? Oh, you're uploading all the videos from the weekend you took at the track. Nice. Nice. Science is awesome, Lindsay. I agree. Science is fantastic. I almost said fantakis. What the fuck? What the fuck does... What is fantakis? What in the fuck? It'll be on BitChute? Okay. Jesus Christ. Fantakis. Jesus Christ. It's a new word in the English language, yes. Are you trying to outdo the comic forge? Oh my god. Okay. So, Anami Paul faces July 20th non-confidence vote as Green Party lays off staff. So Anami Paul is now the new leader of the Green Party. It was Elizabeth May. and Elizabeth May was ridiculous. So let's take a look here. All right.
Green leader Amy Paul faces another challenge to her leadership. Her party's interim federal council president announced a vote of non-confidence against the leader is back on the table. Adrian Wild / the Canadian. The Green Party will pursue a vote of non-confidence against its leader, Amy Paul. CBC News has obtained a party statement that says the party's governing body will hold a meeting on July 20th to vote on a motion of non-confidence. Interim party president Leona Canton-Gusmano read the letter out today to a members' town hall meeting. You are currently on it. The letter says the party's council is moving to sanction Paul for failing to openly condemn the actions of Noah Zatzman, Paul's former political advisor, who called out party members online who criticized Paul's position on the Middle East.
I hope they go under too. This party's a
Advertisement. The move to oust Paul follows a similar attempt more than 2 weeks ago. On June 15th, members of the Federal Party Council instead issued an ultimatum to Paul. The letter Gusmano read to today's meeting says Paul failed to comply with the terms of that ultimatum and must now face the consequences.
joke.
This vote of non-confidence is important and the most consequential thing that has ever been undertaken at the Green Party of Canada, the letter states. We do not take this matter or the decision to hold this vote lightly.
No, I bet you don't. Yep, that's being removed. Yep. Canada needs an American Empire Party. Yeah, I don't think that'll work.
Watch. Amy Paul response. Video embed. Group. Video embed. Frame 1. End of. Federal Green Party leader Amy Paul tells the CBC's David Cochran on power and politics that she wants to focus on matters important to her party too. 19. During the Wednesday evening interview on CBC's Power and Politics, Paul said the campaign to remove her as leader is being driven by a small faction within her party. She said she is quite confident that she maintains the support of most of the party's membership. You are currently on
a small faction within your party. Your party is a small faction. Good Lord. A small faction within your party.
Advertisement. Third party ad. Frame 3. End of. This is really just a small group of councillors, including the president, who are heading out the door, Paul said, noting that the terms of several party executives are due to expire in August. You are currently... Sometimes the most negative voices in the room are the loudest and it's easy for them to drown out the rest. You are correct. For the vote of non-confidence to succeed, 75% of council members will have to vote in favor on July 20th. If that happens, Green Party members have the final say at an August 21st general meeting. You are...
American Empire is crumbling.
Zatzman issued a statement calling today's action further evidence of an organization whose leadership fosters a culture of systemic anti-Semitism and discrimination. You are... Amy was elected by a majority of party members to change this, and I have faith that she will, he said. You... Heading level 2. Layoffs at party headquarters.
So yeah, that's layoff. Oh, okay.
The Green Party of Canada also announced significant job cuts today, ahead of a widely anticipated election campaign. You are... Advertisement.
Yeah, there. A lot of people are suspecting that there will be an election soon. Despite that motion that was almost unanimously passed. I believe that she made it through. She blamed it on Trudeau, citing racism and sexism. Yeah. Hey, P-Dog. And we will put all those traitors to the sword. Ah, the chain sword, yes. The good old chain sword. Okay, let's take a look here. I'm gonna see if we've got any interesting videos that we could look at. For the last 20 minutes of the show. So yeah, there's no more content coming from Mortal Kombat 11, which is sad, but I'm going to keep playing the game until they come up with until NRS comes out with its new game. So we're gonna. I just. Oh shit! Justin Trudeau named Canada's next Governor General? Interesting. Let's take a look at this. I didn't know he was doing that today. I had no idea he was naming a GG. I wonder who he's named. I really do. I wonder who he picked. Let's see. Let's put this in my DM. And we will take a look here because I really want to know what he did here. This was just posted on CPAC's channel like 20 minutes ago, so I had no idea. Okay, let's go here. I have a working chainsword. Let's just say this. It is not something you can one-hand. Open and overly pedophilic president with a majority leadership. Yeah. Very true, honey. That's what America has. Okay, so let's take a quick gander at this video. Ooh. Direct messages. Okay. Yeah, now I'm curious. I wonder who he's picked. Okay. Here we go. Oh my god, Ninja, you are so loud. Pedo Joe is nothing more than a puppet. That's true. Okay, let's get over here and share this. Okay. Tab, 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 tab. Oops. Too far. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is from CPAC, and as I said, it just posted, so we are actually pretty quick on the jump here. We are not going to watch the whole 30 minutes because I think this is most of it is questions, so let's... Okay, here we go.
Bonjour à tous. Merci d'être des nôtres. Let me begin by recognizing that we are on the traditional land of the Algonquin people. We acknowledge them as past, present, and future caretakers of this land.
Okay. I hate this thing, this acknowledgement. If I were a native, if I were an indigenous person, this would really piss me off. Okay? This basically is saying, yeah, I know it's your land, but you can't have it back. Ha 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 ha. We're just acknowledging that we're here, but, we're actually not going to leave because, we're here. But we're just going to acknowledge that, that it's a slap in the face. We acknowledge that we're on your land and that you are past, present, and future caretaker, but that's all. We're not actually gonna repair the damage that we've done with regards to the relationship between us and your people. We're not going to try to help to bring your people into, the same, as our people. We're not actually going to give you the same treatment as our people. We're just going to acknowledge that we're on your land. If I was an indigenous person, I would smack every single person I heard utter those words. I would be like, you know what, asshole? If you acknowledge you're on my land, then get the fuck off of it. I don't want your empty words. Costin, good point. Trudeau is PM. He of all people shouldn't be saying that. Do something meaningful, dude. Exactly. I would be livid as a non-indigenous person. It pisses me off. But as somebody, if I were somebody whose, ancestors were put on reserves and, was dragged into a residential school and shit, and I heard that, I would be so angry. I would just be like, you know what? Fuck off. Just shut up.
Canada is a place defined by people who serve those around them, who tackle big challenges with hope and determination, and above all, who never stop working to build a brighter tomorrow. In other words, people like Mary Simon.
Who?
Frankly, we need more leaders like Ms. Simon in high office, people who understand what it means to take on real issues and create positive change. And that's exactly what brings us here today. This morning, I can announce that on my recommendation, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has approved the appointment of Ms. Mary Simon as the 30th Governor-General of Canada.
Who the fuck is Mary Simon?
Originaire du Nunavik, dans le nord du Québec, Madame Simon a passé sa vie à travailler au nom de ceux qui l'entourent. Au cours des dernières années, elle a été présidente du Comité national sur l'éducation des Inuits et, avant cela, présidente de l'Inuit Tapirit Kanatami. Tout au long de sa carrière, que ce soit dans la protection d'Inuit Nunangat, Arctique, comme défenseuse des droits et de la culture des Inuits, ou comme animatrice de radio avec CBC, Madame Simon a fait preuve de service dévoué. Je sais que Madame Simon donnera vie à sa vision d'un Canada plus fort pour tous lorsqu'elle occupera cette haute fonction, de ses années d'expérience aux nombreux honneurs qu'elle a reçus. Mme Simon lutte depuis longtemps pour un pays juste et équitable pour tous.
So he's basically, he's saying that she's going to be a just and equitable Gigi. You have a massive clown as leader. I can definitely relate to that. Why do I have a feeling she has a background in journalism? Oh, after we watch this, before we end the stream, I'm going to Google her. I'm gonna do a bit of a Google.
Ms. Simon's career of leadership and service has always been one of breaking down barriers. She was the first Inuk to hold a position as a Canadian ambassador, representing Canada as both the ambassador of circumpolar affairs and as our ambassador to Denmark. Madame Simon a travaillé à la mise en œuvre de la première politique sur les revendications territoriales du Canada pour la baie James et le nord du Québec. And now we are honored to have Ms. Simon as Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General. Canada is a big country. Canada is a diverse country. So it is only by reaching out to those around us, it is only by building bridges between people in the north and south, just like in the east and west.
Yeah, because people in the east and west are super unified right now.
We can truly move forward. Mary Simon has done that throughout her life. I know she will help continue paving that path ahead, and we will all be stronger for it. Today, after 154 years, our country takes a historic step. I cannot think of a better person to meet the moment. With that, it is a true honour to introduce Canada's Governor-General designate, Ms. Mary Simon. Mary.
Let's see what she has to say.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Prime Minister. First, I just want to say a few words in Inuktitut, so if anybody has a translator. So, urlakuilu nasi urlumi nakomero mayunga Canada angayokha maringanik tako hausriyangit urlumi pimmariumata Canada sibulipami nunakakasi mayumik inumik inutuinamik dilijimata tatsamunga Governor General of Canada tayo yumut inihaknearamatana nakomero tiyaratsminga Prime Minister mik. So I just to say that in English, I would like to thank the Prime Minister for such a warm and thoughtful introduction and for this very historic opportunity.
Hey, Skip.
I would like to acknowledge today also that we are standing on the unceded territory of the Algonquin people who have lived on these lands and waters for thousands of years. Let me begin by conveying in the strongest possible terms that I am honored, humbled, and ready to be Canada's first Indigenous Governor-General. I would also like to thank Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth for placing her trust and confidence in me to represent her in this wonderful country of ours. I can confidently say that my appointment is a historic and inspirational moment for Canada and an important step forward on the long path towards reconciliation. This is a moment that I hope all Canadians feel part of because my appointment reflects our collective progress towards building a more inclusive, just and equitable society.
I hope that I hope that she's given, like, I hope that this wasn't, I hope that he, well, actually, I know that Trudeau gave her this because he was guilty. I know, I really hope that that she actually can do some good here. But I really feel like that she might have been given this as a virtue signal. And that's really unfortunate. Yeah, this is it and it's really unfortunate because there are positions that could be, that Indigenous people could be appointed to make real actual change. But this is just another empty gesture, unfortunately. And it really, again, if I were an Indigenous person, I would feel very angry. I would feel very angry. I wouldn't want her picked. I wouldn't want a Governor General picked just because of their ethnicity. And the fact that the GG position is mostly irrelevant. I would feel like it was an empty position. And I would not feel honored. I would, you know what I mean? I don't know. Politicians are nothing more than empty gestures. Yep. Elect people to office, not career politicians. Yep. Yep, that's what they did. The stuff that happened to Inuits and other Indigenous folks in Canada needs to be investigated and corrected. Yes. And I feel like if we keep doing these empty gestures, that, yeah, like, she had important roles before. She was an ambassador, and it's unfortunate that she was appointed by Trudeau, because she did hold very important and very historical positions. And it really sucks that she was just kind of... It's the same with Carly Qualtrough, the Minister for Persons with Disabilities. They created a portfolio that didn't exist before. And it's taken until this year for them to create any sort of anything, which is the Persons with Disabilities benefit, the federal one. But they're not doing anything like, I don't know, regulating the provincial disability organizations so that benefits like these that you're introducing won't be clawed back by the provincial organizations. Like, nothing like that. Like, this is just empty stuff. Like, why not have an Indigenous Minister of Indigenous Affairs? Like, why $300,000 for taking some photos and signing some papers sounds like a pretty good gig. Yep. Yeah, that's what would happen. Like, Skep, If you say like for example, Pink Hollow and I a long time ago, he got laid off, and my worker told him he had to apply for employment insurance, which is federal, okay? And also something that you pay into, okay? He got employment insurance, and then I got kicked off disability because they deduct dollar for dollar any federal benefits that come in from your disability check. And then they said, oh, your Pink Hollow's getting EI. So if you get federal support and provincial support, that's double dipping. Even though they're two different fucking programs, and one of them you pay into yourself from your paycheck. They did not cure my disability. They just took the money away. And I had to write a letter of hardship so that they wouldn't take my medical benefits away. I had to basically beg them to please not take my medical benefits away. Right? But do you think the minister for persons with disabilities has done any sort of legislation to stop the provincial governments from doing that? No. Do you think the Minister for Persons with Disabilities has done any sort of thing to help the provincial governments enforce the Provincial Accessibility Acts? No. Do you think the Minister for Persons with Disabilities has pushed for any sort of support in during COVID-19? I think about 1 million disabled Canadians got a total of $1,200 over the space of 15 months. That's all that we got. And a lot of us got punished for applying for Canadian emergency relief benefits, because that was a federal benefit, and so it would have been clawed back. This government is not interested in change for any group. This government is not interested in change for the Indigenous. This government is not interested in change for the disabled. This government is not interested in change for the low income. This government is only interested in how it can make itself comfortable. That's all it cares about. That's all it gives a shit about. How can it make itself comfortable, and how can it not get caught doing so? And you know what? It's not doing a very good job of not getting caught. Like, it's really not. Quite frankly, it sucks at not getting caught. Yep, they only ever are interested in themselves. That's absolutely right. Okay, well, guys, I need to get back to my boy. So I am going to end the stream here. But I do hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I do hope that you will come by for Canadian Wednesdays tomorrow with Functional and I, and that you will catch me tonight with Skep Talk on Minions of the Zoo. Also, be sure to catch me tomorrow on Twitch at 11 p.m. because I will be practicing my ass off because EVO qualifiers are Thursday. And yes, I will be streaming that. So thank you all for watching. I hope you guys have a fantastic time. And I'll see you later on. Thanks for watching, guys.